All roads leave the Bloomington Normal for IHSA girls basketball, and now it is the 2A's turn to crown a state champion. It is the Nashville Hornets coming with a record of 33-3, taking on the Peoria Notre Dame Irish that come in with a record of 33-4. Live on ClutchSportsIL.com, I am Michael Savoy. Alongside me is Mike Plunkett. And Mike, I mean, you look at, both of these teams. These are the final two teams left in Class 2A. This should be a great game.
I would agree. They both have really been tested through this postseason. And you look at, I look at Nashville to begin with. They had to knock off Breese Mater Dei in a 4 overtime game, and then Breese Central. Two very highly rated teams. Peoria Notre Dame has kind of had a target on their back all year. And you jump from, or really go down, I guess, is a word, from 3A to 2A. Expectations are such that, you're supposed to win. You're supposed to be here. And the Irish have delivered. They played, 3A, 4A teams. When it came to the postseason, they took on all challengers, faced a very good Rock Island Allman team in the Super Sectional. And here we are, the last two teams standing.
Let's start with Peoria Notre Dame first, Mike, and we've already touched on it. They're a little bit of their road to the postseason, and it's a very challenging road, especially because they're in 2A and they played a lot of the teams that are outside the Chicagoland area that were also very good. We were talking about Rock Island Allman. They actually were trailing in that game for half of the game, and they ended up pulling away at the end. The final score of that one was 55-39. That final score was not indicative of how that game went. That game was a lot closer, but then we look back to the regular season for this team. The last loss they've gotten was to 3A number 1 Lincoln. They're playing for their own state title after this game, and they, Peoria Notre Dame, we've seen them all season. You've seen them all season, Mike, given that you're pretty much, with the Peoria Notre Dame team the whole season, and they've been dominant the whole season, and going down from 3A to 2A, like you said, has helped them out a lot, and they're primed for this moment.
They really are. The expectations are always that, you're a very highly rated 3A team. All of a sudden you bump down to 2A, you're supposed to win. Well, they didn't just take that. They scheduled some teams this year to really challenge them and prepare them for this moment. They've got 4 losses. They lost to a team out of St. Louis, 2 losses to Alton at neutral sites, and that loss to Lincoln that you talked about. And that last loss was January 20th at the Renaissance Center in Peoria. So they've taken on all challengers, and they've delivered. They've gotten better, and I think it's gotten them ready for this big stage.
Certainly, we look into the last game for Notre Dame. I guess it started with Lexi Barrett. Given that, Regina Dominican was a little bit more undersized than Peoria Notre Dame, a lot of people would have expected a 6'1" Lexi Bear to make her living down low, but no. She had 18 points. All the points she had scored were via the three-point ball. She had tied the IHSA record for most three-pointers in a single game. She went 6 for 8. At one point, she was 5 for 5. At one point, she was perfect. So she had 18 points. Julia Mingus had 17 points in that game. Kaylin Cassidy had 10. Cora Hines off the bench had 7. Maya Wardle had 7 points herself. Allie Stickelmeyer had 6. And Emmy Worrell had 4. So a very balanced scoring attack for this Irish team.
Yeah, that's what makes them tough to guard. Everybody can score. Everybody can score from the inside, from the outside. It's really hard to focus just on one player.
Looking into the Nashville Hornets coming into this postseason, coming into the state finals with a record of 33-3. They had just beaten Robinson on Thursday and have primed themselves for the moment right now. They're pretty much led by their twins, and they're pretty much led by all their young pieces. Out of their 8 best players, 6 of them are underclassmen.
Yeah, and the Nashville program is no stranger to the postseason. They've got a long history, but it's been a few years since they've been here. It won't be the last, because you just talked about it, the youth. I looked at their 4 leading scorers. I think are 3 freshmen and a sophomore. They've got good size. What's going to dominate today? Nashville's size, Notre Dame's athleticism and quickness and pressure. Time will tell.
Certainly, as we get primed for the national anthem, the time is ticking down 10 seconds before we have a singer for the anthem, and we want to remind all of you folks to tune in to Clutch Sports IL for all the action of the 2A state final, the last broadcast of the girls basketball season for us, and couldn't be a better broadcast for us here on Clutch Sports Media. The number 1 Peoria Notre Dame Irish facing off against the Nashville Hornets. So both teams shake hands at center court, showing their sportsmanship, and they return to their sides to await the playing of the national anthem, and we'll have that here for you in a second. By the way, Mike, it's always nice to see that attitude mascot. I gotta say, it's a great time for the IHSA to promote their sportsmanship, and it just makes it for a better experience.
Yeah, I think sometimes we forget this is student athletes, and then the attitude and sportsmanship is something the IHSA really, really promotes, and love to see it.
Yeah, they've had that A mascot, the attitude mascot they call it, for a while, and the starting lineups are introduced for Notre Dame. Or excuse me, no, the bench players, the reserves are introduced for Notre Dame. I'm surprised there was not a national anthem.
Yeah,
I would have thought there would be, but
I think they must do it before just each session rather than each game. And
yeah.
I think the second day we're just going to get starting lineups as opposed to the reserves announced as well. I think they announce everybody on the first day you play. The second game, it's
okay.
I think it's just the starters. So
yeah,
I didn't know either because I've gone through sectionals this year where they played. It's been a doubleheader and they play the national anthem for both games. So.
Yeah. Well, Bridget Dooley, I figured she was announced, but no, that's just Bridget Dooley doing Bridget Dooley things. She's very passionate, she's very energetic, so we got to appreciate that.
Oh, she is. She's got some personality.
As the Nashville Hornets are on the Jumbotron, they're showing on their run to the state title game. Once again, Nashville coming into this game with a 33-3 record, 10-0, undefeated in the Southern Illinois River-to-River Conference, a very competitive conference in the southern part of the state. And like we said, Mike, we've shown that, out of their 8 best players, 6 of them are underclassmen, so they've been very much carried by their underclassmen, and when that happens, they're going to be back here. They should be back here. They should be very competitive for years to come, too.
You're right, and the one thing that I've learned over the years, though, is, seize the moment, because, even though you think, okay, Notre Dame same way, Notre Dame 4 of their 5 starters are going to be back next year as well, but you look at it and say, you know what, take the opportunity in the moment. You don't know what's going to happen next year. Seize this opportunity.
Certainly, as the Nashville Hornets starting lineup is being introduced, they'll start with number 1, Sam Brinkman, a freshman, number 4, Avery Reeder, a junior, number 5, Summer Brinkman, the twin sister of Sam Brinkman, number 5, she's a freshman as well, and number 31, Michaela Gajewski, she's a freshman, and number 33, Emma Berman, a sophomore. So the Hornets, like we said about the 6 out of the 8 best players, them being underclassmen and them being very valuable to their team, 4 out of the 5 starters for this Nashville Hornets team are underclassmen, and all 5 of them are not seniors, so they should have the very same starting lineup back.
Yeah, you would think so, and boy, this is something the teams in Southern Illinois. There's good basketball in Southern Illinois. I didn't realize it, having been with 3A schools predominantly. I didn't know the caliber of play these 2A teams in Southern Illinois. It's outstanding, and for Nashville to come out of that area and be the representative here at CEF2 Arena is really an accomplishment. And you're right, you look at them, they've got to be the favorite coming into next year. Kind of reminds me of Lincoln and Nazareth played last year for the 3A title. Lincoln's got all 5 starters back. Nazareth got 4 of their 5 starters back. Both of them are playing state championship games today. So maybe this is a preview of what may happen.
Certainly, as we see the P&D video tribute on the Jumbotron, giving back to what they had to go through in the state semifinal against Regina Dominican to get to this point. And you bring a good point about Southern Illinois basketball, just in general, not even just the girls basketball, but the boys basketball. You go from Springfield down south. I mean, you're talking about teams like Lincoln and Glenwood. They're going to be playing in the girls' state finals after this game. And you talk about even boys basketball. The St. Louis area and the Southern Illinois area in general have great basketball.
They really do, and it's just so good to see that in a state tournament that for so many years has been dominated by Chicago and the suburbs, and you realize, well, there's good basketball all throughout this state. So really enjoying it. Looking forward to a great day of basketball. Already had 1 great championship game, 2 more late this afternoon and this evening. But right now I'm focused on this one.
Certainly, as the P&D Irish starting lineup is introduced, they'll start with number 5, Julia Mingus. She is a junior. Number 21, Kaylin Cassidy. She is also a junior. And number 22, Maya Wardle, the senior, Eastern Kentucky commit. Her sister, number 23, Emmy Wardle, the freshman. And number 24, the sophomore, Lexi Bear. So pretty much the starting lineup that P&D's had for the majority of the season. And I mean, credit to them, it's worked out for them.
It has been a pretty consistent starting lineup. And you know what? To get this far, you got to be a little bit lucky. You got to be healthy. You got to be a little bit lucky, and you just got to continue to grow. And you had mentioned it earlier. When you have a lot of games where there's a wide victory margin, you play some players, and some kids have developed over the time. Bridget Dooley's a tremendous sub, but one who's come a long way off the bench is junior Allie Steckelmeyer, who's just done a wonderful job coming off the bench. And another one to look for, and going to look for her down the road, is number 32, freshman Cora Hines, who has just grown and developed as this year has gone. So a lot of great athletes on both teams. Great crowd, great atmosphere. Looking forward to a really a fun game.
Certainly, and I interviewed P&D for the regional championship game, and like I said before about them playing all the reserves, or most of the reserves at least, in the later parts of the game. I mean, it's not only that they're getting experience, everyone on this team loves each other.
They
and,
do.
you know, when you talk about, you know, the Wardles and, you know, Bear and all the starters that usually play, they get to sit the bench for most of the games this season in the fourth quarter. I talked to Lexi Bear, and she said, we're so connected, and we cheer for our reserves. We want them to succeed, so that's great for them. As we get ready for tip-off of the Class 2A state championship game, once again, Peoria Notre Dame, Nashville. Combined record for both of these schools, 66-7.
Now, if you've watched Notre Dame this year, if they win the tip, a lot of times at first possession, they're looking for a three from Lexi Bear. I think Nashville probably took a look at that and said, no, we're not going to let her get open right away.
P&D wins the tip. Wardle to her sister, Emmy Wardle. Emmy Cassidy, back to Wardle in the left corner. Gives it to Emmy Wardle. Mangus for a three in the left wing and hits the three. Julia Mangus gets the scoring started for P&D.
And that's kind of the story of the game. Almost everybody touches the ball on a lot of possessions for the Irish. And when you do that, you get good shots.
And you were mentioning in the open, Mike, about the P&D pressure. It's very apparent what they can do on defense, and they cause a jump ball there. Possession arrow still favors Nashville.
Yeah, that's going to be a key for Nashville. Can they handle this pressure? You can scout it, you can talk about it, but until you see it, you just got to learn how to adjust to it. But they've got enough size to be able to maybe get over it, and that's going to be a part of Nashville's game that Notre Dame's got to control, and that's going to be the Nashville offensive rebounding.
Summer Brakeman misses the three-pointer and rebounded by Nashville, but they also missed a putback attempt, and it goes out of bounds, and possession arrow does favor Notre Dame. And you got to figure if they can score another basket in this possession, I mean, that's a great start. You get all the momentum.
And that's what Notre Dame has done a lot this year. They've come out the games and they've started just kind of hit you right in the mouth to begin the game, and then you're kind of on your heels and trying to recover the rest of the way. And these baskets have been very kind to Notre Dame. These two games here. There's another good.
That's a great feed from Lexi Bear to Kaylin Cassidy, and Kaylin Cassidy finishes the layup. Now it's 5-0 in favor of P&D early. As Nashville looks for a response. It's Brakeman back to her sister and down low, looking around. That's Reeder. Reeder looking for somebody who's trapped in the corner. Gives it to Summer Brakeman. Gives it to her sister, Sam Brakeman. She drives in, foul and one. Sam Brakeman gets the Nashville Hornets on the board with an and one opportunity.
Very good ball movement. Saw the opportunity to go to the basket. Brakeman took it to the basket hard.
Sam Brakeman, the leading scorer, her sister is leading scorer, Summer Brakeman at 9.8, but she can put up points herself, and she looks to add another one at the line, and she does. And the score is 5-3 in favor of the Irish.
And we'll look and see as Nashville, if they continue to pick now that's what Emmy Wardle does as well as anybody in the state.
She drives right past the Nashville defender, and she scores the left-handed layup. And she scored 4 points last game. They need a really big performance from her if they really want to win this game.
And being right-handed, her best move and is that's a good.
It's a layup there.
Inside.
Great cut there by Nashville, and they also score. So teams going back and forth now, 7-5 in favor of Notre Dame. As Cassidy in the top of the key gives it to Maya Wardle. Wardle finds a cutting Cassidy. She gets fouled, and she'll head to the line for two.
Really nice job by Cassidy. Rather than coming out and setting the screen, she did a back cut. Wardle's going to find you get open, you're going to get fouled.
Cassidy shoots two at the line, and for her, she had 10 points last game against Regina Dominican, and she is also one of those players where she can score, but against a good Nashville team, she'll need to be big for them as well, as she misses her first.
You know, that's a great point. With the size that Nashville has, Notre Dame's going to need rebounding from Cassidy and Bear. The whole team, obviously, but those two have really got to step their game up.
Cassidy goes 1 for 2 of the line, hits her last, and Nashville will start with the ball. Summer Brakeman. The P&D defense is stifling right now. putting on their press, and they get across half court. It's Berman, Emma Berman. Gives it to Sam Brinkman on the right wing. Finds her sister, Summer, in the right corner. Back to Brinkman on the top of the key. Sam Brinkman gives it to Summer. Summer uses the screen, gets to the right wing. This PND defense is getting tough, and they get a little too close as Mingus picks up her first foul. And we talked about this PND defense before the game started, and even in the pregame, they've been very stifling.
Yeah, that's their game, and what you got to find out is what are the officials going to call? What are you going to be able to get away with?
The shot is blocked. That's Lexi Bear using her 6'1" frame to her advantage, getting the rejection, and Nashville looks to set back up on offense. It's Sam Brinkman and the Redbird logo. Gives it to her sister Summer, fighting a cutter.
That was on the floor.
That was Emma Berman, and she gets fouled on the floor. Who was that foul on?
Looks like Emmy Wardle. Got
and
caught.
You were right.
Got caught behind on the backdoor cut.
And that's PND's third foul. So a quick storyline for the team is 3 early fouls by the Irish, and we're not even halfway through the first quarters. The PND defense tips the ball out of bounds off the inbounds pass from Nashville, and PND fans are not joyous about that call.
Yeah, you're right. With 4:55 to go in the quarter, 3 fouls already. If you get them at the line, and a game could come down to free throws.
Nashville inbounds the ball. That is Berman driving in, and she'll shoot the bank shot, and she'll hit it. Emma Berman gets on the board.
They're not afraid to take the ball to the basket. I think they had, 45, 47 points in Thursday's contest in the paint, and that's what they're looking to do. They know what their strength is, and they're going to stick with it.
Emmy Wardle on the top of the key gives it to Lexi Bear. Bear using the screen from Cassidy. Cassidy rolls to the basket, puts up a shot, and banks it in. Kaylin Cassidy. Another big shot by the sophomore.
And a really nice pass by Maya Wardle. That's what Maya creates. She sees things. She's having a coach, being a coach's daughter. I think she's going to be a coach someday, and she is definitely a coach on the floor.
She definitely plays the game like she's the floor general, and she does a great job at it. She can score, but she's not the top option for this Notre Dame team. And she doesn't have to be because this team is so talented and deep, as there's a drive-in by Nashville, and a kick out to the right block as Emma Berman hits another shot for Nashville, and Nashville answers right back.
Yeah, Berman's a nice-looking player. You can see looks like she can score in a variety of ways. There's Cassidy again.
Cassidy gets an offensive rebound. She's not able to finish around 2 Nashville defenders, and the Hornets are on the fast break as it's stolen by Mingus and Julia Mingus, and that is a block foul by Nashville. Nashville was on the break, but Mingus jumps in and gets the steal, and she draws the foul. So all in all, a really good game so far. It's only a 1-point game. It's 3:35 left to go in the first quarter, and there's a media timeout by the officials. So we'll keep it right here on ClickSportsIL.com. And what are your overall thoughts on what's happened in the first quarter so far?
Well, I looked at this game thinking that who's going to be able to determine what they want to do. You think Nashville wants to slow the game down a little bit. Notre Dame would like to speed it up. It's kind of been at a pace that you would think favors Notre Dame a bit. Nashville has embraced the challenge, and here they are. I'm really impressed with their young kids, the poise they have on the floor. When you're 3 freshmen on the floor who are just carrying themselves like upperclassmen. I'm used to it, I guess, I see Emmy Wardle and Lexi Bear play. I'm used to that with Notre Dame. Seeing this out of the Nashville kids, very, very impressive. So far, Nashville has passed the test of being able to break the pressure, and they're going to pound the ball inside, continue to pound the ball inside. So whatever team is going to be able to really, impose their will on the others and do that consistently is going to be the one that comes out on top today.
Emmy Wardle with her M1 opportunity earlier in the game, and I don't know if you heard, Mike, but there was a lot of chants coming in from the Peoria Notre Dame student section saying she's a freshman.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to like about Emmy Wardle and her potential in this program, and people have already said that even though Maya's a senior and Emmy's a freshman, Emmy might be even better right now than Maya.
Well, it's kind of funny is Maya over the years, and I've talked to her when I was working in the building at Notre Dame, and Maya said, my sister's going to be better than I am. And I said, that's a sister talking. Well, Emmy's pretty good. And the thing is, this goes with a lot of these kids. I'm not as familiar with the Nashville kids. I know watching the Illini Biloxi kids that do so many things. Emmy has come in kind of as a more highly touted soccer player than basketball player. I can't imagine her being better at soccer than she is at basketball, but people say she could be. So, and Emmy Wardle will just do what she has to do to help your team win. Nothing outstanding, but when we need it, she'll deliver.
And that's what you need on a team. You need people who are unselfish. You don't need that one person who, wants to take over a game by themselves. If they have to, they will, but you don't need that on a team, especially if you want to be a successful team.
Right.
As Lexi Bear for 3, and it's no good.
And that was
rebound
one of the
goes to
things
Nashville.
I was a little concerned about is Lexi going to be able to get her threes off as easily against this team? Because the size is going to be a little bit of a factor.
Stolen by the Irish from Nashville, and there we go. Emmy Wardle on the fast break scores a layup, and PND scores again.
Allie Stickelmeyer has entered the game.
Stickelmeyer, really big piece off the bench for this Notre Dame team all postseason long. As a three-pointer by Nashville is no good. Fighting for the loose ball, and given by Emmy Wardle. She might take it herself across all 4 Nashville defenders by her and does not do it.
Good
Maya Wardle for 3, and bang! Maya Wardle, the right wing, hits a three-pointer, and all of a sudden, P&D is starting to run away with this one early.
Really, really good play by, Emmy got denied at the basket. Julia Mingus picked up the rebound. Rather than trying to force something, she kicks it back out to Maya for a wide-open 3.
Nashville running through their offense. It's Sam Brinkman trying to find a lane to drive in, cannot do it. In the game for Nashville is Abby Kemp. She is a senior. Back on the top of the key and down low to Emma Berman. Berman looking for a shot, gets it up, and she scores.
Berman's a weapon. She's good.
Lexi Bear on the other way, behind the back move. Gives it down low and gets it back. Driving in, getting a shot off, looking for the foul, does not get it, and Nashville takes over with the ball.
Yeah, tried to do a little give and go from Stickelmeyer to Bear. Just wasn't much room to maneuver around the basket. Nashville did a good job defensively.
And Nashville starts with the ball. That's Summer Brinkman. Back in the corner, that is Abby Knepp, and she hits the 3. Abby Knepp, and Nashville is within 1.
It's a good team. They do a lot of things well.
90 seconds left to go in the first quarter, a minute 30. And Maya Wardle with the ball at the top of the key. She goes to her left, gives it to Lexi Bear, gives it back to Emmy Wardle. Looking for somebody, Maya Wardle at the top of the key. She drives in, puts up a floater, no good. Rebound by Emma Berman in Nashville, and they avoid the foul call as Summer Brinkman brings up the ball for the Hornets. We're approaching a minute left to go in the first quarter. 14-15 in favor of the Irish as there's a steal. Emmy Wardle active with her hands and governed by her sister, Maya Wardle, and she'll bring up the ball for the Irish. Behind the back move by Wardle. Gives it to her sister, Emmy. Emmy drives to her left, goes to the basket, lays it up with the right hand, is good. She blew right by her defender and scored.
Yeah, that's 6 early points for Emmy. And what Emmy will do, being right-handed, she will beat you to the left 90% of the time. That's the way she wants to go, and people don't think that, and that's what Emmy does, and Emmy has done that all year, and you say, well, get on her left, stop it. Easier said than done.
Sam Brinkman gives it to her sister, Summer. Summer, the point leader for Nashville, 9.8 a game. Gives it to her sister, Hot Potato with the Brinkman twins. Gives it back to Emma Berman. She drives into her left. She puts up a shot, no good. She overshot it.
That was good defense by Emmy Wardle. She disrupted that shot just by being there. Didn't leave her feet, just made her change her shot, and she threw it long.
10 seconds left to go. Maya Wardle, top of the key, directs the offense. Drives to her left. Looking for a shot, does not get it. Gives it to her sister, Emmy. Emmy for 3, no good. Rebound, Lexi Bear. Fought for it, and no shot is off after that. And that is the end of the first quarter. Notre Dame taking a 3-point lead over the Nashville Hornets. Mike, overall thoughts on the quarter?
A lot more points scored that quarter than I thought there would be in total. I thought if Notre Dame had 17, that it might be a 17-5 or 17-6. So this is going to be, I think, an up and down battle. Teams are looking to score. Nashville has met that challenge of this pace of being a quick pace game. We'll see how depth plays in here, but very impressed with the poise of both teams, the calmness. State championship game, they're playing like it's a regular season game in the middle of January, having a lot of fun playing.
And how about Emmy Wardle? She scores 4 points against Virginia Dominican, already breaks her point total from last game, 6 points in the first quarter. she's got to be really big for this team if they really want to win this game. She's had 6, and they're up by 3.
Yeah, every big game that Notre Dame has been in this year where they've been challenged, it's, we talked about the Rock Island Alleman game. I look at a regular season game at Morton earlier in the year. Emmy's the one that has accepted that challenge, and that's a game she seems to have her best scoring output. But, Emmy's also made a couple steals, come up with a loose ball. She just is a very, very complete player.
We look into the road of Peoria Notre Dame heading into the state playoffs. They played in the Illinois Valley Central Regional where they handled business against Kewanee 89-26, and then they had played Sherrard. And this final score, honestly, is not indicative of how the game went because Sherrard jumped out to a 12-4 lead early in the first quarter. It was honestly caught to our surprise. Sherrard's a very good program. And then they had won that game, obviously, played in the Kansas sectional. The Alice Ingersoll Gymnasium, a really nice gym over there. They played Bloomington Central Catholic, 64-31 win. And they also played Deer Creek Mackinac, the Chiefs, a very respectable program. They also beat them 59-37. And then they had played in Bureau Valley, the super sectional against what we said before, Rock Island Alleman, 55-39. That was a very close game until the very end. And then now on last Thursday, they had handled business against Regina Dominican out of Wilmette. That score was 71-25. That score was the third largest margin of victory in IHSA girls state semifinal history. The 46-point margin of victory. Yeah,
that was pretty dominant performance. The Irish did two things. They guarded Regina Dominican really well, forced them into almost 30 turnovers, and they shot over 50% from the three-point line. You combine those two things, not many teams are going to beat you when you're doing those things. Well, we've got Nashville will have possession to start this second quarter after a very entertaining, very good first quarter with the Irish on top, 17-14.
Yeah, they're showing on the Jumbotron, they're showing the route that PND had to take to go to normal. It's not much of a drive compared to some of these other schools like Regina Dominican from Wilmette. That's got to at least be like a 3-hour drive, maybe even more. But nonetheless, we start the second quarter with Nashville with the possession. Avery Reeder gives it to Summer Brakeman, and Brakeman does a Euro step. Crowd might have thought she traveled, but Nashville gets the ball back. Emma Berman goes inside and she scores. Emma Berman, she's been hot so far for the Hornets, and Nashville pulls within 1.
Yeah, Berman's going to be a real X factor this game. I thought that Maya Wardle would be a real difference maker, just being the senior, the one that can run the show out here, and she has done that so far. She's gotten her teammates a lot of good shots, but Berman has really impressed me with 8 points.
Mingus down low.
The early going still.
Cassidy drives in, loses control, looks for a shot, looks for the foul call, does not get it, and Nashville can go, and they might have numbers if they go. They're hurrying up. Summer Brakeman drives in against Maya Wardle, looks for the foul, but she makes a really tough layup, and Nashville has the lead.
Yeah, this team is not afraid to initiate some contact, Nashville, and take the ball to the basket. They're looking to go hard to the basket every time.
Maya Wardle setting up her defender. That's Sam Brakeman. Floats it up, does not get the roll. Rebound goes to the Hornets, and BND commits a foul. And from the first half or the first quarter, PND had the momentum, but now Nashville is starting to feel themselves. They have the 1-point lead, and now it seems to be that the second quarter has gone their way in terms of momentum.
Yeah, they started off with, you make a couple shots, you get a couple calls, and you start feeling a little bit better about yourself. They scored the first 4 of this quarter. And again, we'll see how the pressure affects them.
Bridget Dooley into the ball game for the Irish. Some substitutions to maybe change things up a bit for this Notre Dame team. And we talked about it, Mike, a very deep Notre Dame team. So they're not losing much production out of the reserves. It's a 3-point ball by Berman, and she hits a 3. She can really do it all. She made her living down low for most of her first quarter points. She extends the range and hits a 3. As Julia Mingus goes the other way and tries to make her own 3, misses. And that's Emmy Wardle, Kaylin Cassidy had put it back to layup, and PND, 3 is better than 2, obviously, but they still get some points back. Yeah, that was really what Cassidy has to do. She's got to be around the basket. They can't guard her. Made a nice steal in the interior. It's a nice steal by PND as Emmy Wardle drives in, and she draws the foul. And once again, PND, they're not going to quit, obviously. They're here for a reason. They're that talented, but when it comes to their defense, they're going to stifle you. And you talked about it, Mike, about the open, about Nashville's their ability to break this P&D defense will be the key for them to win this game, as there's a timeout on the floor. Nashville's timeout will be a 30-second.
Yeah, what Notre Dame's going to do, regardless of the situation, regardless of the circumstances, they get the ball on a steal, on a rebound, whatever it may be, on a made basket. Ball gets to the hands of Maya Wardle. She's looking down floor right now, and she's always looking. The other players on Notre Dame have learned, if I sprint the floor, I got a good chance she's going to find me. And Maya, I think, from what I've seen this year, is as good a guard in the state as making that long pass down the floor to an open teammate, hitting them in stride for an opportunity to score. So it's kind of played out, a little bit like I thought it would. So far this quarter. The pace is going to be up and down. I thought Nashville might try to slow it down. They haven't yet. They're going to play this up and down, and that's what the Irish like to do. We'll see how this thing develops as we move on. Get ready for Emmy Wardle shooting 2 free throws.
Emmy Wardle at the line after drawing the foul, and she looks to add to her point total. Like we said, after the first quarter, she already eclipsed her last game point total. She had 6 in the first, but 4 in the last game, but she misses her first at the line, so the score stays put. 19-21 with 5:48 left to go in the second. As Wardle looks for a second.
Make that second, you can set up your pressure.
That's a good point, Mike, about setting up your pressure as P&D looks to be in their press, a man-to-man press, that is, and Nashville breaks that one easily. That's Summer Brinkman.
Yeah, we're talking.
It's a nice find there by Brinkman, and she finds Gajewski, and Gajewski scores, and the Nashville steal at the other end. P&D was going quick, but Nashville responds with the steal, and Sam Brinkman slows things down for the Hornets.
Yeah, the Brinkman girls being freshmen, 5'11", they handle the ball very well. And that was that's a key when you've got some size who can also handle the ball.
As Brinkman shoots it off the foam off the side of the basket, and P&D looks to go the other way quick as Mingus drives in, and she will draw the foul.
Yeah, that's that pass I was talking about from Wardle. Wardle has the ball on this side of half court and is able to hit Mingus in stride.
Yeah, Maya Wardle, and I talked to Coach Langhoff beforehand, and he's even said this in the calls before the game, before the state tournament. Maya Wardle's not the one that wants to try to score. She can score, but she likes to pass the ball. She likes to get her teammates involved first, and that's been a big key for her. That's been a big key for this Notre Dame team, the fact that she's so unselfish.
Yeah, she doesn't think score first, and she can. There's games where she knows she has to take over a little bit and think about scoring, but her game is getting her teammates involved and getting them shots, and she's done that as well as anybody.
As Julia Mingus hits 2 out of 2 at the line, and it's just a 1-point game in favor of Nashville with 5 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, Notre Dame staying with a tough half-court man-to-man defense. Nashville running a little weave out on top.
Nashville and trying to look for their first, or not their first basket, but a basket. They're trying to break this defense in any sort of way. That's Sam Brinkman at the top of the key.
Yeah, it almost looks like they've got a little bit of a spread offense going. Like I said, a little weave, dribble handoffs, and then looking for a gap to penetrate. And they're not afraid to penetrate.
Been very patient to that point as Sam Brinkman in the right wing looks to drive in. Having trouble, looks for her sister, that's Summer. Summer in the right wing, drives into the free throw line. Looking for a shot, unable to do it. Back out the net at the top of the key, gives it back to Sam. Sam Brinkman starting to drive in. They're doing more of their weave offense still.
Yeah, good defense by the Irish and good offense, good patience being shown by Nashville.
Summer Brinkman looks to drive in, and I believe she traveled when she does. What a defensive possession by Notre Dame, and their student section is going to be very lively.
Yeah, just very, now we're going to have our media timeout, but very, very patient defense. Sometimes you get a little anxious on defense. You're going to try to steal, going to reach. None of that. Good position. 4-set travel by Nashville. And just as I said, I think for the game's going to up and down. Nashville now spreads the floor a little bit and slows it down a bit. So,
yeah, we talked about in the open about Nashville can break that P&D press,
right.
And they haven't done it 100% of the time, but they've done enough to put themselves in this game. Obviously, with the lead, 23-22, and they've actually gotten steals on their own end on offense or on defense. So, credit Nashville for their great defense, and they've been sticking with Notre Dame, and that's something not a lot of teams can actually say.
Right, and in addition to that, both teams are shooting the ball very well. That's what, you talk about some points being scored, but, I'm looking at the stats they have posted here. Nashville's shooting 59% from the floor, 50% from three-point, and the Irish 47% from the floor. Both teams are making shots, so, you got to take care of the basketball. This on both ends, take care of the basketball. And I still think, there's an old coach once said that, and it's something I believe that, offense sells tickets, defense wins games, rebounding wins championships. And I think that limiting second chance opportunities is going to be key for both these teams today.
When I do color broadcast for Clutch Sports Media, I always stress this big thing when it comes to the smaller teams that play the bigger teams. You got to do the small stuff right. And this is something that I've even seen in my hometown. Some of the St. Anne teams that I've seen play, sometimes they don't do the little stuff right. What I'm talking about here is boxing out. You got to box out free throw shooters. You got to box out down low, get the rebounds like you said. And then you also got to hit free throws at the line. Free throws wins games at the end of the day. If you could go 100% from the free throw line, out of 20 attempts, that's 20 points. But if you go half, if you go 10 for 20, that's only 10 points. That could be a game changer.
Yep, limit turnovers, out-rebound your opponent, and like you said, make those free throws.
Kaylin Cassidy looks to finish her basket, but to no avail. And Nashville looks to start their own offensive possession. P&D not as aggressive now. Let's see if they can be more aggressive as this possession goes on. As the top of the circle is Emma Berman, excuse me. And Nashville, P&D's defense is very stifling right now, and very stifled right now. Is Sam Brinkman in the corner, gets it back into the top of the key, looks for somebody. Nashville moving the ball around.
And you can see with Notre Dame, when the ball is on one side, the help side is sinking into the lane a lot, so it makes it really tough.
Oh goodness. That's a jump ball, and it'll be favoring the Irish. And we just saw it there, Mike, about how they're passing the ball even in this defense. You're not even really just passing the ball. They're struggling to even have the ball off. That was Gajewski to Emma Berman, and they were not able to do it. And P&D had their hands on the ball at the same time as the Nashville, and obviously the jump ball is called, and Notre Dame with another possession.
Yeah, and that's back-to-back turnovers by Nashville. And it's again, that Notre Dame has just kind of cranked up their defensive pressure. There's a
nice roll there by Cassidy. She's double teamed, gives it back to Emmy Wardle. Emmy Wardle draws the foul, and she'll have to line once again for 2 free throws. They've been using that pick and roll for most of this game.
They're challenging the size. That foul's on number 5.
Foul is on Summer Brinkman, and both Brinkman twins are both, I'd say, around the same height. They're probably 2 of the tallest players on the team, and they're both pretty valuable to this Nashville team. So I have to say Lang Linkhall's philosophy probably was, challenge the best players on the court, and they're the tallest players on the court, so pick and roll works.
Yeah, I think that you're right. We're taking the ball to the basket. We are making them make plays.
As Emmy Wardle makes 2 out of 2 at the line.
And Notre Dame has they have enough players who could score around the basket. Taking it inside is not just for show, it's for a purpose.
As Nashville starts on their offensive possession, and it's tipped, and it was an errant pass. It was Avery Reeder looking for Michaela Jakuski, and Jakuski could not hold on to the basketball, and P&D causing it yet another turnover. That's a 3rd straight turnover for the Hornets.
Yeah, that's a big factor. If you're not getting shots and the other team's able to score, it makes it really, really difficult.
Emmy Wardle gives it to Kaylin Cassidy, looking for Maya.
24-23 lead. Just about
Julia
2:20
Mingus
to go in the half, and this is a crucial last 2 minutes.
Very crucial as Maya Wardle drives in, gives it to Mingus. Mingus to Cassidy, pump fakes, drives in, kicks it out to Maya Wardle. Maya Wardle left corner 3, it's an air ball. Nashville with possession, approaching 2 minutes left to go in the second period. Nashville is trailing 23-24 over Notre Dame. As Nashville looks to start, that is Avery Reeder. Reeder looking for the roller, does not get it to her. Summer Brinkman.
And you're seeing with Notre Dame, they're every switch, every ball screen, they're jumping out, they're hedging out on the screen, and then they're trying to, if you try to get the roller down the lane with the size from Notre Dame, Barrett Cassidy makes it very difficult for Nashville to do so.
Sam Brinkman draws the foul on her drive. That foul will be on the floor, and that foul will be going on an Irish player. Cannot tell who that was.
I think that was on Emmy Wardle.
Emmy Wardle, okay.
I think that was Emmy.
The line changed for Notre Dame as we got a few substitutions. Ali Stickelmeyer into the ball game. Berger Dooley went in the ball game again, and I think that's got to be it for them. Sam Brinkman brings the ball up and gives it to Avery Reeder. Avery Reeder at the top of the key, looks to drive into her left, kicks it back out to Sam Brakeman.
Yeah,
90 seconds left to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, a big possession for Nashville. They haven't been able to get a shot their last 3 times down. Notre Dame defense has really stepped up. That's a good move.
Avery Reeder, a great move, but call for the travel. She had tripped on her own self, and she took one too many steps along with that trip, and that was a little bit easier to call. But a great move to get herself in that position, just wasn't able to make the shot.
Yeah, she had the right idea, just lost her footing.
It's a 1-point game, 1:25 left to go in the second quarter. It's Peoria Notre Dame on top of Nashville, 24-23, and Notre Dame with Amy Wardle walking the ball across the time circle. We'll get the possession started for Notre Dame. It's Maya Wardle. Gives it to Bridget Dooley. Dooley gets the ball stripped and stealed. It's Sam Brakeman. Brakeman spin move, gets to the basket, puts it up, and she's fouled, and she'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, a little bit of a careless pass by Dooley, and good defense by Brinkman.
It's Nashville, that's their third team foul, or excuse me, their fourth team foul, and for Notre Dame. Or no, excuse me, both teams have 3 team fouls for the quarter. As Sam Brakeman shoots at the line and she misses her first. Free throws are at a premium for Nashville. They know they're not, in terms of advantages, they don't have a lot of the advantages going their way. They have some size, but not the size that Notre Dame really does have. So the smaller things like free throws need to be made as she makes her last of 2.
Yeah, because when you come down and you turn the ball over 4 straight times, when you finally get that opportunity with the foul at the line, you do have to take advantage of it. So 1 minute to go, tied at 24.
The seconds are ticking off the clock for Notre Dame. They look for a good shot. Lexi Barrett gives it to Maya Wardle, and Maya Wardle sets up the offense. Tied at 24. We're approaching 50 seconds left to go. Mingus looks down low. Maya Wardle goes to her left, looking for somebody. Drives in, looks for a shot, puts it up. A floater is no good, but she gets fouled. She drives in and she penetrates through the defense, and she puts up a good shot there, a floater from the right block, and she goes to the line for 2. And that foul will go on Abby Knepp. That will be, I believe, her first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, 4th team.
That'll be 14 foul. And Maya Wardle hits her first at the line and gives Notre Dame the lead. Kaylin Cassidy comes back in for Notre Dame. And Maya Wardle hits her second, and she'll be subbed out for Allie Stickelmeyer. And like we said, Mike, about this Notre Dame team, how deep they are. And, like I said, you're not losing much production in terms of players on the court, whether they're starters or reserves, as Notre Dame calls a 30-second timeout. So, I mean, yeah, like when you play all those games that Notre Dame has and you blow out teams the way they've blown out teams, sometimes you even play those reserves the way you do in the fourth quarter, in the third quarter, so they're actually getting a lot of time. So you're not losing much production in terms of reserves to starters.
Yeah, they've got a lot of experience on the bench, a lot of kids playing that have gotten a lot of minutes this year. Kind of anxious if this timeout is not to maybe see if, I think what Nashville is probably looking to do here is there's just a tenth of a second, under 40 seconds to go in the half. Nashville does have the ball to start the second half. You'd think, okay, we want the last possession here, first possession of the half. Is Notre Dame going to come out and shift gears a little bit, maybe trap something harder, maybe show them a little different defense on this out of bounds, which is the purpose of that timeout. We'll see if that's the case. They may look to just run at them and trap and see if they can force them into a turnover, get a cheap basket, steal one late.
You bring up a good point about the possessions that Nashville wants to have. They want to finish this quarter on a good note and start the second half on an even better note, as we're approaching 30 seconds left to go in the second quarter, 24-26 in favor of Notre Dame, as Nashville looks to be very conservative in offense, it looks like, as Summer Brakeman on the Red Bull logo. Gives it to her sister, Sam Brakeman.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're thinking last shot, just a matter, probably look at about 12 to start attacking. Down 2, their idea here is we don't want to be any worse than 2. Maybe we can tie it or take the lead, but we do have the ball to start the second half. Now they have to move.
7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5, 4, and the foul is called on Notre Dame, and that is
not a horrible foul.
Not a horrible foul. You have fouls to give. you have one foul to give. So next one would put Nashville at the line for the rest of the quarter, but I doubt that really would matter at this point. I mean, it's only 3.9 seconds left to go. And Nashville looks to inbound the ball, looking for a good last shot. 3.9 seconds, a lot of time in basketball. You can get the ball in and get a dribble off and get a good look. Was looking inside, and that's Summer Brinkman.
Got to go now. They're going to go with the three.
Last shot, the buzzer is no good. It was an air ball by Avery Reeder, and that'll send us to the half. A very entertaining game so far. 26-24, Notre Dame taking care of business so far against Nashville. Mike, overall thoughts on the half?
Yeah, just a very entertaining half. The scoring slowed down a little bit after a 17-14 lead by Nashville in the first quarter. Notre Dame outscored the Hornets 12-7 in the second quarter. Slowed down just a little bit. Nashville had a little more trouble handling the half-court pressure, not the full-court pressure, the half-court pressure. So we'll see if maybe some of the depth, you can get worn out, get a little bit tired with this pressure. We'll see how that plays out in the early going in the second half. But it's been very entertaining. We'll look to see if there's any slight adjustments on anybody looks to do this half. Nobody in any real foul trouble. So I'm looking for maybe a lot of the same in the second half, maybe a couple different little tweaks on defense by both teams. But looking forward to a great second half.
So if you're Nashville going into this halftime locker room, you know you get the ball back. What do you say to your team if you're a coach, Dempsey Witt?
I think one thing is, we got to take care of the basketball. We got to value every possession. And let's see if we can pound the ball inside a little bit. They kind of got away from that a little bit in the second quarter. The first quarter they had a lot of buckets going to the basket or thrown to the post inside for 12 points. Second quarter it became more of a one was a turnover issue, but secondly the ball was coming more around the perimeter rather than going to the basket, held to 7 points. I think it's going to be a little bit more the idea of we got to stick to our identity, and that's getting the ball in the paint and putting some pressure on the defense that way.
Yeah, you look at both these teams are matched up with each other. Nashville comes in bigger in size in terms of Virginia Dominican. Virginia Dominican really struggled with Notre Dame in terms of their size and their youth. I mean, Nashville is in the same kind of boat in terms of their youth, but Nashville proving that they're putting up more of a better fight, I guess you can say, than Virginia Dominican. You gotta point that to their size.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to beat Notre Dame, and this has been the course really all season, if you're going to beat Notre Dame, you got to be able to handle the basketball, and you got to be able to match their size. And Nashville's done a good job with that. Their turnovers have been in the half court, not in the full court. They haven't been the live ball turnovers in the full court that have created turnovers and easy buckets for the Irish. So they've just got to be able to take care of the basketball a little bit better in the half court. But other than that, I think we're gonna see what they like to do: get the ball in the paint and see how well Notre Dame can handle that without getting in any foul trouble.
Nice showing out here by the IHSA. I believe this is the student sections that are selected by the IHSA be competing with, I think they're called the best student sections. I see see some schools here that I kind of know in a way. Let's see.
Well, you see Mother McCauley volleyball.
Mother McCauley.
They're always
just Kyle Sandberg and Orland Park. I see them.
Yep. Okay.
Let's see. Mother McCauley, like you said.
Trying to see what some of these nicknames are. I can't quite.
I see the comments and they're purple. I have to wonder what they are. Oakwood Comets. They're by Champaign, I believe.
All right.
I guess while we're at it, I mean, we can run through the scores of the half.
Yeah.
Julia Mingus, 5 points. Not Ali Stiglmeyer. Kaylin Cassie has 7 of her own. Emmy Wardle, she had 4 the last game, but she finishes the half with 9. Amaya Wardle, her sister, ends the half with 5 of her own. That is for Notre Dame. And you look into Nashville, Sam Brinkman, 4 points. Her sister, Summer Brinkman, 2 points. Michaela Galjewski had 4. And Emma Berman, the tallest player on the court for Nashville, that has been a pest down low so far and has been someone Notre Dame has to keep an eye on. She has 11. And Abby Knepp has 3. That is the scoring for both teams, as we recognize student sections here in midcourt. And I think while we're at it, we might as well look through. We already talked about Notre Dame's route to the postseason. We might as well look through Nashville's. So their road to the state final was in the Breeze Mater Dei Regional. They They had played Althoff Catholic. That game was a bit more easier for them, 52-28 W. And then they played Mater Dei, the host of the regional, 70-62. That was a win for them. They get the regional plaque. They host their sectional.
That was in 4 overtimes too. That Mater Dei.
A quadruple overtime.
Mater
Yes.
Dei was 4 overtimes, and that was a good team. I know that Mater Dei has a 6'5" center inside. Mater Dei had been down at state before, so very, very.
That's a very impressive win, man.
Yes.
Nashville, they also hosted their own sectional. They played Mesquite County. That was a 57-47 win. They won their sectional semifinal. Then they played Breese Central. That was for the sectional championship. They win 46-34. So a very easy route so far. I mean, you got to talk about Mater Dei so far for them. But then they play in the Vandalia Super Sectional against Camp Point Central, a very good Camp Point Central team that I got to see in the State Farm Holiday Classic. And they beat them by 9, 41-32. And obviously they played on Thursday against a very talented Robinson team, and they beat them 52-36. So a very talented Nashville team, and they've had quite the challenge heading into the state finals.
Yeah, they've really had some challenges themselves this year. I think they split with Breese Central, but they won the second matchup. I think maybe they split with Mater Dei, won that second matchup, lost to a very, very good Alton team. So, they beat a very good O'Fallon team. So, Nashville is a really, really good team. And, you look at them, and if I didn't know by looking at the stats coming in here, you'd never know that they're playing all these freshmen, sophomores. And I think that's kind of the same way in both these teams. You don't know by watching Emmy Wardle play that she's a freshman, or Lexi Bear's a sophomore. These Brinkman girls certainly don't look like freshmen. So very, very impressive team that Nashville has out there.
Well, we already talked about Notre Dame and the fact that their last loss came to Lincoln, and they've won 11 straight. Before that, they had lost, like we said before, the 4A number 2 Alton twice. That was the same opponent that Nashville lost to. They lost Alton on January 20th. That score was 55-42, but ever since they have been on a 13-game winning streak. Both teams coming into this game in double-digit winning streaks. And you look at their competition, who they lost to. They lost to 2A Breese Central. You talked about they lost the first matchup, got them back in the second. And then they also lost to 4A O'Fallon, number 7 4A O'Fallon. So that's a very talented school in the St. Louis area. That both came in the Mascota tournament. The Mascota, I think it had to be a Christmas tournament. And they had won. Mater Dei was actually the defending state champion in Class 2A. If I remember correctly, they had beat them, obviously, what we said, in quadruple overtime. So
yeah, and they avenged that loss to O'Fallon and came back and beat O'Fallon later in the season. So the young kids just kept getting better and better as the season went on. And here they are playing the state championship game against the number 1 team in the state in Peoria Notre Dame. So Nashville has certainly they have earned their right to be here. That was not given to them. They've had to beat some very worthy opponents to be where they are.
I was looking to the postseason for both of these teams in the state tournament, at least. And you look at Lane Langhoff and Notre Dame. He actually spent the first 13 years of his coaching career coaching at Canton. He coached there from 2004, the year I was born. That makes me feel kind of older, I guess.
What year was that?
2004.
And that's the year you were born.
2004. I am 19 years old.
You didn't need to say that. You're making me really feel old.
I apologize now to you, Mike. I didn't mean to make you feel the way you feel now, but then he coached Canton from 04 to 17. Coached there for 13 years. Had not won a regional plaque at Canton, even though he had great Canton Little Giant teams. Then he goes to Notre Dame in 2017 and still has not won a regional title until this year. And this is the year for Notre Dame that they've gone all the way, obviously, to the state championship game. So credit to them. And if you look on the opposite side, head coach Dempsey Witt, this is his first season ever coaching high school basketball. And, I mean, what a way to do it. 33-3. I mean, that's quite impressive for any coach, let alone a first-year head coach. But if you look at Nashville, they've been in the state tournament quite a bit. In their last time they won the state championship was the last time they were here. That was in 2013, so a little bit of a decade ago for them. But they've been in here 8 times. Overall record all time of 9-11, so they fared kind of well. I mean,
right.
500-ish, kind of a little bit around that. And both these teams, they're very talented. And you look at Notre Dame, they're not experienced. They haven't been here a whole lot in terms of the record. But you look at Nashville, the complete opposite. They've been here kind of regularly.
Yeah, they've got a lot of state trophies, and the thing that kind of gets lost, and it was is Notre Dame, and even when Lane was coaching at Canton, and he had some good teams, there was a stretch there where you had Morton and 3A. You know, this is back when Canton was a 3A school, Notre Dame was a 3A school. They're both 2A now, but they were 3A schools at the time. You know, to get out of a regional something, you had to beat very good Morton teams. You know, that won state, I think 4 out of 5 years. The year they didn't win the state, Richwoods won state. So you had great Richwoods teams. You know, Central has had some really good teams. Notre Dame the last 2 years lost to very good Washington teams in the regional. So you know, it just goes to show how tough it is really to win a regional, to win a sectional. These teams that are doing this year after year, they've really got a great program established. And I think Notre Dame's at a point right now where they're going to be a lot like what we've seen with Nashville, where it's going to be a pretty regular basis that they're winning regionals and competing in sectionals as they continue to move through with these young kids progressing.
And both these teams come in with their really respectable records. Notre Dame 33-4 and Nashville 33-3, 66-7 overall between the two teams in total. And it's not like these seasons were just out of the blue. They're not outliers. Both these teams come in for the past 3 seasons with very respectable records. In total, Notre Dame is 82-8 in the last 3 seasons. It's unbelievable what they've done. And obviously no regional title is showed for the first 2 years, and now they're here in the state finals. For Nashville, more of the same, 76-23 since 2021, and they've had 3 straight 21 seasons. So 2 very respectable programs and 2 very, you know, basic, you know, I mean, they're here for a reason. I mean,
yeah, and you look at competition. You know, we talked about, you know, Nashville, some of those teams they played with. Notre Dame early in the year beat St. Bede. St. Bede was here for, you know, Final Four. They beat, or they lost to Lincoln in a very good game. You know, Lincoln's playing for a state championship. Lost to Alton twice. Alton could have easily been at the 4A Final Four. They did have a player get injured in their super sectional game. Not making excuses, but sometimes there are reasons why things happen. Fremd is in the Final Four 4A. Notre Dame beat Fremd in a very good tournament around Christmas time. So these teams have been challenged. That has prepared them for this moment. And when you watch these kids, both teams, the young kids out here playing up down the floor, you look at their faces, they don't look like scared freshmen. You know, they are, or sophomores. They are pretty seasoned from the exposure they've had this year, the schedule the coach have created for them this year, and they've been in situations that have prepared them for this, and that's why this looks like you're looking at juniors and seniors out here playing rather than a lot of freshmen, sophomores.
well, we already talked about it, you know, about how Notre Dame's, they've been a buzzsaw all season. They've won a lot of games by a lot of points, and, you know, when that happens, when you get in blowouts in the fourth quarter, you let your reserves play, and that's not the case for Notre Dame in 3 of their games, for example, like most teams will have in a season. That's been the case for the majority of their games.
Yes.
So a lot of, you know, their production doesn't just come from their starters, it comes from their reserves, because the reserves have so much playing time that they've had so much experience.
That's exactly right. And you know, on that note, I'm gonna shift gears just a little bit. I was, you know, just watching Lincoln play yesterday, and you look at what Chloe Froby has done and scored over 3,100 points in her career and still going. A lot of those games she never plays fourth quarter because they have running clocks. She's not playing, and yeah, you know, so, and you know, you said that's with Notre Dame as well. You know, that's a challenge for a coach to think, oh, that's a nice problem to have. Except you want your starters to play. They got to get game time in and all that. So what they're accomplishing and how they're doing it, very impressive.
Nashville starts with the possession, and they look to keep things closer, and we know that, you know, when you see Notre Dame play and they keep things close in the first half, usually they come out in a really strong second half. Right. Hopefully Nashville can keep that to a halt and keep themselves within this game, because they definitely have a fighter's chance in this game. They're only down by 2.
Yeah, we got a 2-point lead. Notre Dame's 8 for 9 from the free throw line. Nashville 2 for 3. So, you know, that if you're going to get fouled, get to the line, you got to convert. Both teams have done it. Notre Dame has just been there more.
Nashville starts with the ball. It'll be Sam Brankman, gives it to her sister Summer, top of the key. Gives it to Avery Reeder. Avery Reeder gives it to Brankman. Sam Brankman drives to her right, puts up a shot, and she's strong drive there by Brankman, and she scores.
Yeah, that's really impressive. They cleared the side. Good ball move. Wardle
for three, and it's a little bit long. It's a little bit off the backboard, too strong, and Nashville looks to retake their lead.
Yeah, Nashville did a really good job running good offense, A lot of screening, a lot of cutting off the screens.
And it's a steal there by the Irish. That is Julia Mingus, and Mingus drives in, kicks it out to Lexi Bear. Bear drives in, wide open, decides not to shoot it. That's Julia Mingus in the corner. Gives it to Wardle, and they set up the offense. We're on the IHSA State Finals logo.
Boy, Nashville's done a great job of taking Lexi Bear out of the game. They 6 for 7 on threes yesterday, has not scored a point yet today.
The steal by Nashville. They talked about their defense being really compatible with Notre Dame's offense. Both defenses being stifle.
Yeah, big. They're long, they're athletic. They.
Oh, what a find down low, and is no good. But it's a Brakeman twin. Summer Brakeman on the top of the key finds Sam Brakeman, and Brakeman, Sam that is, not able to finish, but draws the foul.
Yeah, it's Maya Wardle.
And that's Wardle. Wardle bricks up her foul.
Oh, her third.
I
missed one
that's a little bit of a storyline, I guess you can say. I mean, the second half, 3 fouls, not the hugest deal in the world, but still something to keep an eye on as Sam Brakeman hits her first.
For Notre Dame, is she sets a tone on defense, and she's so active out hounding the ball that just one little slip up, one thing that goes wrong, and you get that 4th foul, and that changes the whole complexion.
As Brakeman hits her second of 2, and she hits all 2 of her free throws, and Nashville gets the 2-point lead, and Emmy Wardle brings up the ball for the Irish.
Yeah, the way the second quarter started, where Nashville started with a 4-0 run, they've done the same thing here in the third.
As Wardle takes a mid-range jumper, and she hits. Maya Wardle ties up the game for Notre Dame.
Very nice shot. She was slowed down, collected herself, squared up, nice shot.
Nashville on the other end, Sam Brakeman, top of the key, goes to her right, looking for somebody. A little bit of a trap there set by Notre Dame, Emma Berman, and she gets it back to the top of the circle and right back to Emma Berman in the right wing.
Yeah, they're running a little bit of that UCLA cut off the high post.
Does not go avail there as Avery Reeder misses the layup on a good Notre Dame defensive possession. Lexi Bear for 3 on the other end, and she's good. That was pure shooting by Lexi Bear, and she needs to get red hot for this Notre Dame team.
Yeah, and that was created by Emmy Wardle. Emmy beat her defender off the dribble, penetrated down the lane, help came, she spun, kicked out to Bear for the 3.
Summer Brakeman gives it down to Avery Reeder. Reeder in trouble, gives it to Emma Berman. Brakeman.
That's a really
the Summer
good
Brakeman
move.
gets spin move, and she finishes.
That was a big time move there. Nice spin, under control.
As Brakeman hits her shot and gives Nashville the 1 with just over 5 minutes left to go in the quarter. 31-30 in favor of Peoria Notre Dame. Kaylin Cassidy drives in, wants the foul, but not able to finish the layup. No foul called. Nashville takes over.
Yeah, I like for Notre Dame the idea of trying to get Cassidy going to the basket. That shot just wasn't there. It's probably where you kick it out and repost.
Summer Brakeman gives it to Reeder. Reeder to Junior. Drives to her left, and it's an offensive foul. It's a charge. And Notre Dame, the bench is feeling it a little bit more now, and the student section just got a little bit more rowdy behind us.
Yeah,
4:46
those are
left.
Big plays, those offensive fouls. It's a turnover, and you don't any chance you come down the floor, you don't get a chance to score. That hurts you.
Allie Stickelmeyer in the ball game for Notre Dame, and Abby Knepp in the ball game for Nashville. As Maya Wardle sets up the offense on the beak of the Redbird on center court. Wardle. Still the ball on the top of the key, gives it down low. That's Stickelmeyer, gives it back to Wardle. Wardle down the baseline, draws the foul, and she heads the line for 2.
Yeah, good strong move on the baseline by Maya.
As Wardle shoots 2 at the line. And she is the points per game leader on this Notre Dame team. She's averaging 13.3 a game. So she likes to get her teammates involved, but as we can see there, I mean, she can score when she needs to.
She can score.
She misses her first there on the line, and she goes for her second here shortly.
Now again, they want to get the second one down, set up their defense.
She does, and Notre Dame.
Now they're backing off a little bit. The full court was maybe, they're not getting the turnovers. They were more effective in their half-court defense, so they're going to stay with that half-court defense.
Just a little over 4 minutes left to go, and Nashville is trailing Notre Dame by 2. They have possession of the ball. That's Berman. Gives it to Sam Brakeman. To her sister, Summer Brakeman. Brakeman driving in, gets it stripped a little bit. Sam Brakeman drives to her right. She trips and falls, but it's a foul on Notre Dame.
I think that was on Allie Stickelmeyer, maybe?
Yes, it was on Allie Stickelmeyer. And that is the second team foul for Notre Dame. Both teams are equal in terms of team fouls. Both teams have 2. As Nashville looks to get the ball in, that is sister to sister. That's Sam Brakeman with the ball on the top of the key.
Good
looks
look
down
inside.
low.
That's a good post inside. They called a travel.
And that is a travel called. And I had a feeling it was either going to be a foul or a travel. Either way, the whistle was blown, and as a travel by Nashville, and that looks to be an immediate timeout.
Yeah, as I said before, with the pass inside to Cassidy on the post there, I would have liked to seen the post there, kick it back out, repost. You may get the ball back in a little better position to score. If you travel on that, that means you're probably not in a good spot where you're going to be able to score. Repost, let it happen again.
We look at both of these head coaches here. Lang Langhoff for his 6th season at Notre Dame. He is coming with a record of 137 and 66, a very respectable record at Notre Dame, and this would be the cream of the crop in terms of wins, getting the state title for him. And as for Dempsey Witt, this is his first season at Nashville. He comes in with a record of 33-3. That's very impressive for his first season too at Nashville.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to start. What are you going to do to top that? You know, that's impressive. Coach Langhoff in the 4 years, what I call them the Maya Wardle years, because when Maya came in, it was expected that she's going to make a difference in this program. And then right after Maya came in some pretty good players. This junior class with Cassidy and Mingus and Stickelmeyer obviously following. In this senior class, Bridget Dooley did not come to Notre Dame until her sophomore year, so she wasn't there as a freshman. But in this time that Maya Wardle has been a part of this program, the Irish have lost probably 15 games in 4 years. And but this being the year that they were all waiting for, that the expectations were there. And it wasn't so much we want to get to state. It was talking to Coach Langhoff. It was our goal is we want to play the last weekend. And here they are on the last day.
Certainly, and we look at, honestly, I'm going to look at both of these student sections. P&D a whiteout, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And Nashville coming with a blackout, so a very classic theme for both teams, and it looks kind of aesthetically pleasing to the eye because you're not just looking at random colors; it's just white and black.
That's right, and then you got the red and blue of Nashville that we're looking at, and some behind us, and you got the blue and green of the Irish sitting behind us. So nice crowd, and I'll tell you what, look at this place this afternoon when Lincoln plays; it'll be full.
With the bigger schools play the 3A finals and the 4A finals, I mean, obviously bigger schools, more students to choose from. So
and Lincoln,
I'd honestly expect this. This is already packed as it is. It's a great environment so far, but imagine this, probably 2 times the size. That's probably the 3A and 4A state finals.
Yeah,
so
especially with Lincoln. They travel really well. They will fill the place.
As we look back into the game, and Nashville looks to inbound the basketball, and they look to tie the game, or excuse me, Notre Dame inbounds the basketball. I was looking on the other end.
Yeah, we're coming off of a travel call around the basket, so we're looking at a
refresh my memory.
Looks like the sideline reporter going to do a little story on the cookies from Lane Langhoff's mom. That has been a tradition since Coach Langhoff started coaching at Canton 20 years ago, and I can vouch from experience, they're delicious.
It's hard not to have a good cookie as Emmy Wardle drives in. Emmy Wardle goes to her left and beats the defender to the basket, and she hits an easy left-handed layup.
That's a big-time move. And again, she's right-handed. She just comes across the lane or down the lane so much as using her left hand.
Sam Brakeman goes back to the top of the circle on the Redbird logo and sets up their offense for Nashville. We saw the P&D defense get into set on their press after they made buckets, so that's something that Nashville needs to keep an eye on as they look to be set up. And it's Summer Brakeman having trouble, gives it to her sister Sam. Sam drives in, looking for somebody, struggling, gives it to her sister Summer. Summer drives in.
Good cut.
And no good. Rebound goes to Nashville, and that's no good. That was Michaela Galjewski.
Boy, that would have been a big bucket to fall for the Hornets.
Or excuse me, that was Emma Berman getting the offensive rebounding, trying to get the putback and not able to do so, but she does draw the foul. And these free throws are honestly really big for this Nashville team. They need to make their free throws as Emma Berman has won.
That last Irish foul was on number 5, Julia Mingus. Lexi Bear coming out for a short break, I would assume. Caitlin Cassidy
Very
returns.
Very short for her. They really do need her to be a difference maker for this Notre Dame team coming down the stretch if they want a chance to win this game, as the second of two does not fall for Berman, and Notre Dame fast paced the other way. That's Maya Wardle. Wardle orchestrating the offense. Caitlin Cassidy, top of the key. Looking for somebody. Maya Wardle wide open. Does not decide to shoot it. Tries to drive in. Does not do so. Gives it to Cassidy. Gets it right back from her.
Good help on defense by
Great defensive
Nashville.
possession by the Hornets. Emmy Wardle looks for something. Sticklemeyer back to Wardle on the Redbird beak. Wardle drives to her left. Hesitates. Goes right back to the lane. Floats it up, and it's pure Maya Wardle.
Really great hesitation by Maya. She didn't just go put her head down, go to the basket, hesitated, and then had a chance for the floater.
Sam Brakeman, and she was trapped in the corner. She was going to be trapped, and Nashville thought better of letting it happen, and they call a full timeout. Dempsey Witt calls a full timeout for Nashville, trailing by 5, and they look to talk things over.
Yeah, critical time. You know, we're 2 minutes, 7 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's a 5-point Notre Dame lead. Nashville gets the ball back. They can't let the game get away from them here. This is where if it extends bigger than 5, you know, I look for Notre Dame. Maybe look to spread the floor a little bit. Do just what Maya did that time. You spread, you attack, you find your shooters, find your rollers, or if nothing's there, you take it to the basket yourself. So Nashville's got to keep it close. Big possession. They want to get points out of this one.
2:07 left to go in the third quarter. Is 31-36 in favor of Notre Dame, and like we saw, or excuse me, I'll put this out there. We're on live on ClutchSportsIL.com for anyone who is wanting to watch this live stream or is still watching this live stream on ClutchSportsIL.com. But what I was going to tell you, Mike, is, you know, when Notre Dame, they made their last shot, they were right in their zone press, and they were right in that press, and that's something that Nashville probably is talking about in their huddle.
Yeah, because what Notre Dame, they're gonna mix it up a little bit on some of their pressures, how they do some things, and every now and then they're going to come out and they'll throw a really hard trap at you. They'll trap that first pass. So, and they haven't done a lot of that, but look for some switching up just to confuse Nashville a little bit. And again, this is a big possession for the Hornets. Good timeout by Coach. They got the ball in front of their bench.
Let's see what Dempsey Witt draws up here to get the Hornets some scoring, get the lid off the basket for this Hornets team, and put them even within striking distance of this game. It looks like P&D's got all the momentum. They're up by 5. 2:07 left to go in the third. And it's Sam Brakeman on the top of the circle on the Redbird for Nashville. This Notre Dame defense, very stifling so far. Emma Berman gives it to Summer Brinkman. Gives it to her sister, coming Berman, and the ball is tipped out of bounds. That ball is tipped out of bounds by Emmy Wardle.
Yeah, they ran a really nice play there, and Emmy Wardle was there to tap the ball out of bounds. And that's another thing that Emmy does so well.
Nashville inbounds the ball. That is Brinkman, Brinkman. Sam Brinkman, top of the key on the feathers of the Redbird. Looking to set up the offense. Summer Brinkman. Back to Sam. Sam looking down low, and that ball is.
That's going to be. That was tipped last.
That was tipped.
Mingus.
That was tipped out of bounds. That ball was intended for Michaela Jakuski, but Jakuski just couldn't corral the ball completely. But it was tipped out of bounds. So Nashville will retain possession.
And you can see what Nashville's trying to do here. They're looking to pound it inside as much as they can. Big thing, you just got to get the ball in, and that's not always easy to do against this Irish defense.
Certainly, as Sam Brinkman brings up the ball and gives it to Avery Reeder. Reeder gives it to Berman. Emma Berman looking for a lane, does not get it. Avery Reeder looking for her own lane. A nice cut to the basket, but turnover. That is Emmy Wardle with the steal. Emmy going to the basket, kicks out the Mingus right corner. Sticklemeyer. Back out to Cassidy. Cassidy drives into the lane and gets a right-handed layup on a really tough shot by Cassidy, but it falls.
Good, strong move.
And Notre Dame is up by 7. They're starting to pull away a little bit, and their defense is starting to feed off their offense. A very, very stout defense so far for Notre Dame. Another steal. We know it's a foul. It's a foul on Notre Dame. It's a very tough call. That'll be Sticklemeyer picking up the foul.
I think it was.
And for Notre Dame, that is their 4th team foul. That's a tough call there by the official, but Notre Dame nonetheless still has the 7-point lead. 57.5 left to go in the third period.
And again, as this game has progressed, Notre Dame's defense has just kicked up a little bit of a notch and making it much more difficult for Nashville to make any penetration. Passes are being challenged.
Sam Brinkman going to the lane, puts up a shot, and she's fouled. A nice drive to her left by the freshman, and she goes to the line for 2. Sam Brinkman, the freshman, she is the team leader in assists. She has 121 on the season. She had 1 last night, but she is known for her passing ability and sharing the ball, so she's been very valuable in that regard. Only a freshman. A lot of these players on Nashville that are very important are not only freshmen, but sophomores, underclassmen, as there's a shot good there by Brinkman. She goes 1 for 1 so far at the line.
Yeah, the Irish bring Maya Wardle back in. Even though she's got 3 fouls, they're bringing her for this offensive possession to finish the quarter.
It's a nice way to, go about your business if you're Link Linghall, play the offense-defense game. Probably sub her out in the defensive possessions if you can, as the second free throw is no good and rebounded by Maya Wardle. Maya Wardle pushes the pace. Looking to drive, she does. Kicks it out to Mingus. Mingus left corner
Good
3.
shot.
Bang! Julia Mingus from downtown. And Notre Dame has a 9-point lead.
And that was all Maya Wardle. She corralled the rebound. That almost became an offensive rebound for Nashville. Pushed the ball down the floor and then got it to Mingus for the 3.
We're approaching sets. 10 seconds left to go. 11 seconds. 10, 9. Nice cut in by Summer Brinkman, and she puts up a layup and she scores. I just got to go quick if they want a good shot.
Boy,
4 seconds. 3 seconds. 2, 1. My World. Top of the key. 3. No good. Off the front of the rim, and that's how the quarter ends. The Irish are up by 7. 41-34. And Mike, overall thoughts on that quarter?
Well, the bucket at the end it's what Nashville needed. They were in a situation where we're 9 down. If we don't score, Notre Dame has the ball to start the fourth quarter. Notre Dame's got all the momentum going for them right now. So that bucket still keeps them within striking distance.
There's a lot of cumulative scoring, or excuse me, you can go.
I was just going to say, these 3-4 minutes to start this quarter are going to determine how this game is going to finish up. If this lead expands from 7 to double digits, it's going to be really tough for Nashville to come back. If they can cut this thing in half as we go into that last 3-4 minutes, now we got ourselves anybody's game.
The scoring for Notre Dame, it goes like this so far after the end of the 3 quarters. Julia Mingus, 8 points, a big 3-pointer that she shot before. She has 8. Kaylin Cassidy, 9 points. Maya Wardle, 10. Emmy Wardle, 11 points. And Lexi Bear, she was very on fire in the first game, but she only has 3 points.
Yeah, she hasn't had many opportunities to shoot the ball, but that's, give credit to Nashville for taking that away. But again, to give credit to Lexi for not forcing things.
Nashville scoring goes like this. Sam Brinkman has 9 points. Abby Knepp has 3. Summer Brinkman has 6. Michaela Januski has 4. And Emma Berman has 12. That is all the scoring so far for Nashville. They've had 10 points in this half compared to Notre Dame, who has had 15 points this half. So Notre Dame won the third quarter 15-10. So there's a good reason why they're up by 7 right now.
And again, we'll see if there's going to be any slight changes. The philosophy for Nashville that quarter was they were really trying to pound the ball inside, but Notre Dame's defense, a lot of times if you're not quite as big on the interior, then you put the pressure on the ball handler. They can't make the pass inside, and that is what Notre Dame did a really good job of in that third quarter. Well, we got 8 minutes to determine who's going to be our 2A state champ.
8 minutes, and this is for all the marbles. The pinnacle of IHSA girls basketball, the pinnacle of IHSA sports is the state tournament, the state final. 8 minutes. This game is not over, folks. Nashville is only down by 7. It's only a single-digit game. 8 minutes to decide it all, and you can have it here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Updates on Twitter from Jonathan Michael. A story from Jonathan Michael coming up after the game. The famous Jonathan Michael, I should say.
Yeah,
Got to be the most famous writer in Peoria area history.
He does a great job with what he does.
A really good job.
And when he stepped in, when he was writing something for Bradley this basketball season with David Minion, was recovering from his surgery. And it's good to see Dave back, obviously. But Jonathan did a great job.
Very much of a team player.
That's right. Well, here we are now.
Here we are. 8 more minutes. The gym is getting loud, and I can only expect it to be louder from here. Yeah, both student sections are on their feet. and they want their school to win a state championship. 8 minutes to decide everything. Notre Dame inbounds the ball. Mingus to Wardle, and Maya Wardle sets up the offense for Notre Dame.
Yeah, this is state championship atmosphere, state championship game.
And an offensive foul on Notre Dame, an illegal screen set by Lexi Bear. Well, it was an off-the-ball screen.
Yeah.
And Nashville, a key miscue early by Notre Dame. Nashville has an opportunity to cut into this lead by Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's Lexi Bear's third foul. Gives Nashville the ball back, a turnover, so that possession was kind of a wasted possession to start the quarter. So the next jump ball goes to Nashville, plus they get that first possession. So big turn of events if they can turn it into points.
Summer Brinkman on the top of the key, gives it to Emma Berman. Berman gives it to Jakuski, kicks it out to the top of the circle. It looks like Summer Brinkman.
Yeah,
and that's the defensive foul on Notre Dame.
Yeah, Julia Mingus with the hold. Kind of got caught with her hand in the cookie jar that time. The ball was fumbled a little bit, reached forward, and instead of grabbing the ball, grabbed the arm.
And Lang Linghoff has seen what he's needed to see so far in the first 30 seconds of the quarter. It's 7:30 left to go, but he already calls a timeout at 32nd, or excuse me, a full timeout by Coach Linghoff. And you got to wonder that they kind of want to change things up a bit, because right now Notre Dame, this is the biggest game of the year, obviously.
Yeah.
They don't want to make any more mistakes.
Yeah, and part of it, too, is let's just play the game. Settle down, just play the game. This is a basketball game. Don't get caught up in the atmosphere. These are high school kids. These are young kids. And, you're thinking about, here 8 minutes, we're state champs. Well, you got to play those 8 minutes first. So I think what Coach is telling them is let's do what we do. Let's continue to do what we do. Don't get over anxious. Just play the game the way we've played the game since November.
Certainly, and you look at Notre Dame's wins. It's really only because Notre Dame plays their style of basketball, and when other teams play them, Notre Dame plays their style of basketball so well they have to play with Notre Dame, and that's why you see all these blowouts. For how Notre Dame plays. Notre Dame plays really aggressive defense. Their offense feeds into their defense, and when they do that, they're very successful. So, I think what Coach Linghoff is telling his players in the huddle is, just don't go out of character. Just stay the course, and we're here for a reason.
Stealing a phrase from the PND boys basketball is "do what we do," and that's what you want to do here for the last 7.5 minutes of this game.
Sam Brinkman on top of the key, gives it to her sister Summer. Summer back to Berman to Knapp. Back to Berman. Berman drives to her right. Looks for somebody. It's getting trapped, getting struggled.
Yeah,
and Coach Dempsey White calls a timeout, and he did not like what he saw either.
Yeah, I was avoiding that 5-second call. They were about one more second away from getting that, and that had been a turnover. They can't afford to have any turnovers, and really what they need to do right here is they need a possession. They need
something to fall in the tin.
They need to get points out of this possession, and then just play good, solid defense. Long ways to go in this game.
Very much so. It's 7:11 left. It's only 7 minutes, but in high school basketball, that's got to feel like, at least in real time, probably like 3 hours almost, because it's so long.
Especially when you're ahead.
This game is within striking distance for sure. Only a single-digit game. 34-41 in favor of Notre Dame. 7:11 left to go, like I said before. And this is for all the marbles. 7:11 left in the two-way girls basketball season. A state champion will be crowned sooner rather than later. Will it be Notre Dame or will it be Nashville? We'll see. The three-pointer by Berman.
Nice,
a great look for Berman. No good. But Jakuski gets the rebound between two Notre Dame defenders, and she draws the foul.
Boy, she's a good player.
That's hard right there for her. That was not much of the skill as much as it is just, I want the ball, I want to shoot the ball, and I want to make sure that either I get fouled or I make the shot. 7:06 left to go in the fourth quarter. 34-41 Notre Dame, as Jakuski misses her first shot at the line. And like I've said before, Mike, about these free throws, they got to hit them, especially if you're down to a team like Notre Dame.
I was just thinking that as that shot went off.
And the second one is pure by Jakuski, and
she's a good freshman. She is really strong, does a great job around the basket.
Maya Wardle orchestrates the offense again for Notre Dame. Lexi Bear, left wing, gives it back to Wardle. Wardle uses the screen, finds a cutting Mingus, but Mingus struggles with the possession of the ball. Lexi Bear, three-pointer in the left wing, no good. Rebound goes to Nashville. That is Sam Brinkman.
Oh, a double dribble.
She can fall for a double dribble.
And now some people are going to say, why would Lexi Bear take that three? That's what Lexi has no conscience. She's going to shoot it, and I mean that in a good way, not in a bad way. Lexi's a shooter, and when Lexi's open, she's going to shoot it. Now, if this game is a 6-point game with 2 minutes to go, you're going to say, no, don't take that shot. But that's a shot Lexi can make, and she makes it a lot.
She made it a lot last game, 6 out of 8 from downtown, tied the IHSA record. There's a steal by Nashville. That is Summer Brinkman, and she draws the foul in the other end, coast to coast for the freshman.
And that's going to be 4 fouls on Bear, I believe.
I believe you're right. And I thought he showed a 25 at first. I was wondering where he was going with that, but it was a 24, and that's Lexi Bear's 4th. So that's a big storyline. One more foul, and she's out of the game.
These are big too.
And these are big free throws, but Summer Brinkman does miss her first.
Yeah, that's a 4th free throw they've missed this half. And in a 6-point game, that's huge.
Brinkman shooting her second at the line very soon. Pounding dribbles. Very focused at the rim, I'd assume, and she shoots her second, and it is good. It rattles around the rim and goes. So Nashville can breathe a little bit more, pulling within a two-possession game. And Notre Dame looks to set up their offense. A dangerous pass, but gotten by Julia Mingus. Mingus is on the elbow, gives it to Emmy Wardle, and Wardle settles things down for the Irish. Right on the eye of the Redbird. And she orchestrates the offense.
They're going to try to pull them out a little bit.
They do just that. Kaylin Cassidy right there for the screen. Goes the other way as Emmy Wardle, gives it to Maya Wardle. Cross-court pass to Mingus. Mingus goes baseline, goes up, and a foul on the floor goes on Nashville. Mingus goes baseline, but is bumped by a Nashville defender, and Notre Dame will inbound the ball on the baseline.
That's the 3rd foul on Reeder, but just the first team foul. The Hornets.
Team foul of the quarter for the Hornets. That's a good thing for them. They have 4 fouls to give before they're 3 fouls to give before they're in the bonus. A cross-court pass from Mingus.
Cassidy thought
to
about
Cassidy,
it.
And then Cassidy gets it back to Mingus, and then Mingus gets it to Maya Wardle. Wardle uses the screen by Cassidy and passes it back out to Emmy Wardle.
They're going to pull them out.
They're going to waste as much time as they can. They don't have a shot clock in girls basketball, and there's a foul called on Nashville. That would be on Emma Berman.
And they're going to pull them out and then just look to attack. They're not going to really just try to hold the ball for 5 minutes and 43 seconds, but they're sure going to pull them out and then look to attack. And Notre Dame has the horses to do that. Notre
Dame is definitely able to do stuff like that as Stickelmeyer has possession of the ball, and she is fighting with 2 Hornets for possession, and there's a jump ball. Or excuse me, no, that would be a foul on Nashville.
And that would have been a turnover if not for Maya Wardle.
As Maya Wardle, that is.
Because that ball was going to be a turnover, and she stayed with it and tapped it to Stickelmeyer, who then got fouled.
Maya Wardle inbounding the ball under the basket.
It's a big, big play.
This is a big time in the game for PND as Stickelmeyer gets the ball, kicks it out. That is Cassidy for 3, no good. And tipped out and rebounded by Nashville. That is Summer Brinkman with the board.
Another big possession here for the Hornets. Get a bucket here. Puts a little more pressure on the Irish.
5:19 left to go in the game. And a nice cut there by Berman. And Berman looks in and draws the foul, but not able to make the shot. She'll shoot 2 at the line.
Give her 2 shots. That foul was on 20.
Maya Wardle.
Her 4th.
So another big storyline is the foul trouble P&D's in with their better players. As Berman, big free throws for the freshman as she hits the first one of 2. Or excuse me, the sophomore.
We're so used to saying freshman for all these kids.
Especially Nashville. I mean, you talk about all these important players for the Hornets. They're all mostly freshmen.
Yeah, Berman's the old lady out here as a sophomore.
As Berman goes 1 for 2 of the line, looking at her second shot. Big free throw here for the sophomore, and she hits it.
She is really, really a good player. Like her game a
lot of poise from the sophomore, and they pull Nashville within a possession. And look at Nashville's student section. Look at the fan section. They're on their feet.
3-point game, 5 minutes to go. State championship. Can't beat it.
You can't beat it at all. As Maya Wardle, they're wanting Nashville to come out and guard them, and they will. Mingus on the left wing. Goes to her right. Looks for Maya Wardle, gives it to her. Maya Wardle on the red of the Redbird on the top of the logo. On the beak. Gets the screen from her sister, Emmy. Emmy gets the ball on the top of the key on the eye of the Redbird. Drives past Sam Brinkman, and she puts it up, and she gets it to go. And one from Emmy Wardle. Oh, my goodness. And that, I mean, it's not the dagger, but that sure feels like a huge basket for Notre Dame.
And I was just going to say, every game when it's a situation like this, Emmy Wardle steps up, and here she goes again.
A big free throw from the freshman. She is just a freshman. A lot of poise from her, and she'll be a big piece for this Notre Dame team for years to come. One free throw to put it to a 6-point lead for Notre Dame. It's rattles around the rim for a little bit, but it falls, and Notre Dame has a 6-point lead, 44-38. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left to go.
Yeah, if the Irish spread the floor, Emmy Wardle's the biggest weapon they have because she can go either direction, right or left. She'll finish around the basket.
It's a good defense. Good defense by Stuckelmeyer as they knock the ball away from Berman, but Nashville retains possession still. That is Sam Berkman.
Oh, that's a great
move. And an add one for her. That's Sam Brinkman, an add one for her, and she answers right back with possibly another 3-point play to pull this game within another possession.
That is really a good move. That foul was on 12. Allie Stuckelmeyer's got 4. So right now, the Irish are looking at Maya Wardle with 4, Lexi Bear with 4, Allie Stuckelmeyer with 4, and more importantly, Nashville's going to be shooting 2 free throws the rest of this game.
Really big point of this game, like you said, Mike. The bonus for the rest of the game is now it's a one-possession game as Berkman hits her and one opportunity, and it's 44-41 with just over 4 minutes left to go. 4 minutes left to go in this game.
Well, we talked about this at the start of the quarter. Is the gap going to get widened or closed in the first 4 minutes? And Nashville has closed that gap from a 7-point deficit to 3. 4 minutes, or a little under 4 minutes to go now. And here we go.
Emmy Wardle on the beak of the Redbird. Nashville is going out to guard him still. As Wardle drives in, looks for the shot in her left hand, and she draws the foul. The basket does not go, but she'll still shoot 2 at the line.
And that's why she's so difficult. Right, left, it doesn't matter.
And for Nashville, that is their 5th foul, so both teams will be shooting 2 for the rest of the way, and we call a media timeout. And boy, I mean, 3:36 left to go. It's just one possession that dictates who has the lead and who ties up the game. You can't ask anything better than this. The student sections for both schools are up on their feet. They're not going to sit back down. Man, this is amazing.
Yeah, this is the atmosphere that you want, that you expect in a championship game, and you just can't beat it. And it's been a freshman for Notre Dame who has really made the big plays down the stretch, and that's kind of what she does. She's a freshman by year in school, but she sure doesn't play like one.
You can say the same thing about both teams. You can say the same thing about the Berkman twins or the Brinkman twins.
Yep.
Both Sam and Summer have been big pieces on this Nashville team, both freshmen, and like we saw before at Emmy Wardle, she is also just a freshman. So the freshmen are playing like seniors in the biggest moment, and wow, this game it's only a 3-point game, like we said. 3:36 left to go. Thanks for everyone for tuning in on ClutchSportsIsle.com. And wow, I mean, you got to stay through the rest of this game because this game's going to come down to the very last shot.
Right, and we're going to, when we come back out of this timeout, you're going to have Emmy Wardle at the line shooting 2 as we revisit the foul situation. It looks like both teams now are going to be shooting the double bonus. So, fouls are important. Making free throws is going to be huge. It's a point of the game now where, Notre Dame, that decision has to be, we're going to continue to keep the floor spread and attack and force them to fouls. And I think that's the best strategy right now, because the more time they have the ball, less opportunity. Nashville has the ball, less opportunity for Wardle, Cassidy, Bear, any of those girls to get more fouls.
Emmy Wardle at the line, shooting 2, and both teams had 5 fouls. So fouls to give is out the window. Both teams will be shooting bonus free throws at least at the line on the floor. If there's fouls on the floor, they'll be shooting 2. As Emmy Wardle hits her first shot at the line. Her second is off the mark. It goes off the back of the rim, in front of the rim, and falls.
Yeah, even when she misses, she doesn't miss by a lot, does she?
No, she usually either drills the free throw, or if it's off, then it's not completely off.
No.
It's usually a really good shot. As Nashville is possession back, and they look to
Oh, nice offense for a three.
Abby Knepp from downtown, and she hits the three, and that pulls Nashville within a single point. Wow, what a big three-pointer from Knepp.
That takes some guts to step up and make that shot.
Nashville is
Now, Knepp
only
is the
down by
senior.
1. Knepp is the senior on this team that has gotten a lot of the bulk of the playing time in terms of upperclassmen on this Nashville team, and she proves why she is so important to this team with a big three-pointer as the P&D Irish set up their own offensive possession. It's Emmy Wardle
Yeah, if
driving
you're
in.
Nashville, you got to be aware of Emmy.
And Emmy Wardle does not put up a shot driving into her left. She looks to kick it out, but she is twirled around, and a foul is called on Nashville. For Nashville, I'm almost positive that is Knepp. Yep, Abby Knepp. That'll be her second foul. And like we said, bonus free throws are a premium now. No more fouls to get for both teams as Emmy Wardle is out the line. She misses her first. So that's a really big miss for Wardle, given that it's just a one-point game.
And just, your legs are a little tired. There's a little pressure.
And she drills her second free throw, so it's a 2-point game. 2:47 left to go in this ball game. The state title for Class 2A is on the line. Both student sections are on their feet, and both student sections are making their chance. What an atmosphere as Sam Brinkman drives in, gives it to her sister, Summer Brinkman. No good. Rebound goes to Berman. Net for three at the top of the key. No good. Rebound goes to Nashville, and they score. That is Summer Brinkman. The rebound just went right to her. She was in the right place at the right time, and she hits the mid-range jumper. And now the game is tied.
And we talked about how important rebounding is. You can't give those second shots.
That rebounding was very crucial for Nashville. The ball was fought for by both teams, and it ended up going right to Summer Brinkman, and she knew right what to do with it right when she got it, and the game is tied. And now Langhoff calls a full timeout for Notre Dame, and this is such a big moment in this ball game. 2:07 left to go. The game is tied 46-46. Wow, what a time right here.
Yeah, not sure we're going to see a better game the rest of the day. This is what a state championship game should be. Two just really, really good basketball teams. A lot of good young players, but they're just good basketball players. Again, now what's going to happen, as we finish this thing out, it's going to be good shot selection. If you're on defense, team misses a shot, you got to secure that first rebound. It's always those second shots that seem to get you, particularly late in the game, and take care of the basketball.
I like to shout out Darren Brazell, the head coach of Perry Central. I see him in the stands right by the Peoria Notre Dame bench, and he's been through a lot as a father as of recently.
Yep.
His son had passed away a year ago to this day, I think, around spring break, around this time during spring break. So good to see him healthy, good to see him smiling, and he's going to see a great basketball.
And they have been really, really a real fan of Notre Dame. And Notre Dame played in a tournament earlier in the year, and they've just been real big supporters of
what a turnover by Kaylin Cassidy. She gives it to Maya Wardle, but sticking in the passing lane is Sam Brakeman, and she gets the turnover, and so does Sam Brakeman bring up the ball. Brakeman goes to her right. It's guarded by Menges.
We talked about you got to take care of the basketball.
Summer Brakeman gives it to her sister Sam. And a timeout by Dempsey Witt, and I got to say, even though there was nothing that was too inherently bad about that possession, I mean, you look at the score, 46-46, a minute 45 left to go. I mean, that's still a pretty good timeout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The thing when you're talking about coaches and the decisions, nobody knows their team better than that head coach. So they know, this is the time I need to call time. This time I can let my kids get through it. Whatever it may be, they know their team, and now they're going to talk about all different kinds of scenarios. What they want to run here. Maybe they've got a little something they run here that's effective, going to give them an opportunity for a quick basket. Notre Dame, on the other hand, you might look and say, okay, are we going to switch anything up defensively this possession? Just stick with what we normally do. But the number one thing is the shot goes up. 1, don't foul. 2, secure the rebound.
Folks, it is a minute 45 determining who is the IHSA state champion. It's tied at 46. Nashville 46, PND 46. This is such a big time in this ball game. We appreciate all you guys tuning in at clutchsportsio.com. I mean, wow, just both student sections are on their feet. Both fan sections, for the most part, are on their feet. Everyone is anticipating a great finish to this game, and I mean, this is just the second of 4. We also have a 3A state final and a 4A state final that should be equally as good.
Oh yeah, just entertaining. I don't know if you're here all day or what you're doing, but I'm on my way home back to Peoria after this, and then I'm going to sit this evening and I'm going to watch those 2 games and just enjoy some more basketball. Sad to see the girls' basketball season coming to an end, but it's great to see a game of this quality to finish things up on the 2A side of things.
You said it, Mike, and Sam Brinkman gives the ball to her sister Summer, gives it to Berman. Berman back to Summer, and Summer looks to go back to the Redbird logo and orchestrate the offense. Held on to the ball and is trapped on the top, gives it to her sister Sam.
Boy, they just don't get rattled. You know, she had the ball and her sister was being denied the ball. They just don't panic.
You can credit them being twins in that regard, the telepathic ability.
You betcha.
I feel that as a triplet. I feel that with my brothers too. As there's a drive in by Brinkman, and she puts up a shot, a really tough shot at that, and it's no good. Fought for the rebound, but it goes to Notre Dame.
Boy, great battle by Lexi Bear.
Lexi Bear was battling for the rebound, but it does go to Emmy Bear. But no doubt about it, Lexi Bear, great fight on that rebound.
Okay, what are the
49
Irish
seconds left
shot?
to go, and Nashville is content with giving them some time to run off the clock and maybe even the last shot.
Everybody's on their feet. They're gonna
yes,
live and die. And what Nashville's got to be aware of here, if the Irish miss, you got to be aware of the offensive rebound to tip it in.
Everybody, and I mean everybody, is on their feet.
Yes.
We talk about the student sections being on their feet the whole game. Now everybody, besides I guess the band, are on their feet. 20 seconds left to go. 46-46. Emmy Wardle for the past 20 seconds has been on the Redbird logo. Will she do something? 10 seconds left to go.
And I'll tell you what,
10,
everybody on this Notre
9,
Dame team can score.
8, 7. She's blocked, but it'll be still Notre Dame ball. What a defensive possession by Nashville.
That was a great block.
Great block there by Nashville, and Lane Langhoff smartly calls a timeout. He has 2 timeouts remaining now. What a timeout used there, and wow, what a time in this ball game. 6.6 left to go. We already mentioned it's tied. Everybody is on their feet. Everybody's still on their feet, even though the timeout is called. Wow, what a time in this game.
Yeah, they're going to run a baseline out of bounds play that they feel pretty secure that this is a play that we've used a lot this year. We're going to be able to get it in, get a quick hitter, get a quick shot. You look at Emmy or Maya Wardle, either one of them penetrating, but you got it. If you collapse, you got Mingus and Bear kind of setting up on the wings or the corners. Both of them can knock down a 3-pointer. So any of those scenarios could happen here.
There's a lot of scenarios you can have on a team when you have the team like P&D. You have a lot of versatility. You have someone like Maya Wardle who can pass. You have someone like Lexi Berry who can shoot. You have someone like Emmy Wardle who can take games into her own hands as a freshman. So a lot you can draw up here for Lane Langhoff. Let's see how this game unfolds. 6.6 remaining. Tied at 46.
Cassidy.
5, 4, 3. Emmy Wardle drives in, shoots a layup. It's good! Emmy Wardle for the state championship. Notre Dame wins the IHSA 2A state championship. The freshman, Emmy Wardle.
Put time back on. I wouldn't be surprised.
I believe Dempsey White called a timeout, so they are going to put some time left on the clock. But wow, what a shot by the freshman, Emmy Wardle. And that might as well have done it for Notre Dame. 48-46.
1.3.
1.3 on the clock.
Emmy Wardle got the ball on a handoff, penetrated down the lane, pulled up, knocked down a jumper.
Wow, and that was not an easy shot either. And given the situation, you got to know what's going on in that athlete's mind. And, it's not just another game. This is the state championship, and she's just a freshman. This is not someone who's been seasoned through the Peoria Notre Dame high school program. This is her first year doing it, and now she is probably the biggest shot of her life to this point.
Yeah, and I think that what Notre Dame, and Nashville's going to have to draw something up here, trying to go the length of the floor in 1.3. They have no timeouts left, so this is it. They're out of timeouts. Notre Dame, obviously, you can't foul. There's no way that you're going to foul here,
especially with no fouls to give.
But when you look at a freshman, that's 18 points she scored today. 9 in each half, I believe, and just a tremendous performer.
Key for Notre Dame, do not foul. Because if you foul, they're getting bonus shots at the line.
Yep.
I was going to ask you, Mike, about if they want to do the football thing where Linkoff will call his own time. I was going to ask you if the Nashville want to do their own like football style play where they run, but
yeah,
they do more of a full court set on their inbounds play.
Sometimes what they'll do too, it's a little easier with the boys being a little bit bigger and stronger. These are a lot of freshman girls here, but the old Valpo play, if you remember the Homer Drew play where you throw the ball down and you catch, and right now as soon as you catch it, you kick it out to a shooter and knock that shot down. But I don't know, whatever they practice, whatever they've worked on, you just don't know what they have here. But the big thing is if they, you got to get that first pass near or at half court. Just be able to have a dribble or two and take a shot. Something from down here is just not going to do it for them.
This will most likely be the last time both these teams will huddle before the buzzer hits double zeros. What a game it's been so far. Emmy Wardle with arguably the game-winning shot. We'll see what happens in the last 1.3 seconds, but what a shot.
Look at Emmy Wardle's face. You wouldn't know that this is a state champ. She's so calm, so poised. She's been that way from day one. Nothing ever changes with her.
Certainly, and if you look at her face, you might not even know that she's a freshman. She has that look on her face that, hey, I've been here before, but no, this is her first time in the high school P&D program.
I'm looking for a long pass. She can run. The Irish have brought in freshman Cora Hines to put her on the ball.
Here we go, 1.3 seconds. The ball's thrown away, and there it is. P&D wins the 2A state championship game. What a game, 48-46, the final. What a game. Jubilation all over the court on P&D's side, and you've got to respect the Nashville student section and the parent section for clapping. They show good sportsmanship. Wow, what a game.
Yeah, this game could have gone either way, obviously. A tremendous play by Emmy Wardle to finish things. But again, this is a team effort. Nashville made it, they did everything they could to win this ball game. They were down 46-41 and tied it at 46. It came down to just a great play being made by a great player in Emmy Wardle.
Emmy Wardle, the freshman. People forget that she's a freshman. When people think of this Notre Dame team, they think of the Maya Wardles of the world and how she's done with Notre Dame, and rightfully so, but it's her sister, Emmy Wardle, that comes up big and gives Notre Dame their first ever state championship as a program. Yeah,
and I don't know if we have the ability to name a player of the game here, but my vote is Emmy Wardle. How do you guys feel?
I think it's a great, I guess you can say a great redemption story, even because she scored 4 points on Thursday.
Yeah. But
not that she really needed to score more points than that, but
I was just going to say, in the games where, if you look at our scores over the year, and I'm talking Notre Dame, you look at the scores over the year, the games that we blew people out, Emmy's not going to have a lot of points. It's the tight, closer game. Notre Dame went up to Chicago, played in a tournament over the holidays, and played Fremd in a game that Maya Wardle fouled out. Who won the game for them? Emmy Wardle. Their game at Morton earlier in the year. The Rock Island Allman game in the Super Sectional. Who took over? She's just got something in her that not many people have.
There was just something about this Notre Dame team that you have to love. Not only the fact that they're so deep, not only the fact that all their starters can be difference makers, not only the fact that their bench is so deep with difference makers. It's the fact that they're all so connected with each other. It's not just, 10 players just playing basketball with each other and just going about their business. No, they're connected. They love each other.
Yeah, they're friends. They're a lot of them are best friends. And what I see is, I work the Bradley games at the scores table, so I get to see Bradley games up close. And the Wardle kids are always there behind the bench, the Bradley bench, and they're always bringing their teammates with them to the game. And it's just fun. And when you like each other, you'll do anything. You play for each other. What an effort, though. I'm looking at Nashville. The girls, they're upset. They're sad. They got nothing to be upset about. And, hang their heads high. And what a great effort by the Hornets.
Yeah, Nashville, they have nothing. They have nothing to really be too upset about. I mean, sure, the seniors, they have 2 seniors on the roster. Sure, they're upset, and rightfully so. This is their last time putting on the Hornets uniform. But look at the team across the board. A lot of their difference makers are underclassmen, so they'll be back for a couple years. So don't be surprised if you see the Nashville Hornets here.
Oh, if these two teams were back in this same spot next year, it would not surprise me one bit.
Let's look back into the trophy ceremonies, and this is arguably one of the best girls basketball state title games I've ever seen, let alone broadcasted. I've only broadcasted one, obviously, but I look back in the few years I've watched these title games on TV. Some of them are as close as this. Some of those are just pure blowouts.
Yeah.
But this one had it all. This is one heck of a game.
When it literally comes down to the last possession, and Notre Dame's last possession was a make 1.3. I think if Nashville would have had 3.3, they might have had a chance to tie this thing up or win. It was just one of those games. The last opportunity, and Emmy Wardle just stepped up and showed what Emmy Wardle can do and has done her entire freshman season. Certainly,
it came down right to the final shot, as now we're having ceremonies come for Nashville and PND. We look back to the point scorers. We first start with Nashville. Sam Brinkman had 12 points on the night. Summer Brinkman had 9, and then Michaela Jakuski had 5. Emma Berman had 14. She had the game high honors for Nashville. And then Abby Knepp had 6 of her own, So that was the scoring for Nashville. If you look for PND, a really balanced scoring attack for the Irish. Julia Mingus, 8 points. Kaylin Cassidy, 9 points. Maya Wardle, 10. Emmy Wardle, along with her game-winning floater at the end of the game, had 18. And Lexi Bear had 3 points. So not the best showing for Lexi Bear, but you got to credit that Nashville's defense for shutting her out.
And that's what I say. Nashville saw Notre Dame play on Thursday and said, this Lexi Bear can shoot. We're not going to let her beat us. And you know what? And I said this earlier, credit to Nashville for not letting that happen, but let's credit Lexi Bear for not forcing things. She had an open 3, she knocked it down. Other than that, they kind of took her out of the game offensively. That's okay. She did the little things you had to do to win the game.
Well, we're at it. I mean, Nashville does lose and does end their season. So does Notre Dame. They win but end their season. The final game for both these teams, we want to get a shout out to the seniors that have put a lot into the programs of both of these schools. First, for Nashville, Abby Knepp. She actually played quite a bit as a senior. She was the only senior upperclassman that really played valuable minutes for this team. Once again, most of their players that played a lot are underclassmen, so shout out to her. And then Mackenzie Petke, another senior, one heck of a career in Nashville as well. And
the seniors, it's always bittersweet. Win or lose, whatever. Your high school career has come to an end, and the saddest part about these games as a coach is not so much that you lose as much as, hey, I don't get to coach you guys anymore. And that's a sad thing. Maya Wardle has left her legacy, her stamp on this Peoria Notre Dame program, and the success. She struggled through 2 years of difficult losses in the regional, and all she did was up her game and made everybody around her better, and she's left something now that future teams that are going to win, it's going to be because of what Maya has done for her 4-year career. And I'm sure it's the same thing for these Nashville seniors.
You bring up a good point about coaches not being able to coach their players anymore, especially the seniors. You got to look back in the Illini Bluffs. Their head coach, I forget the name out of time. Oh, yeah. Coach Belleville. Belleville. He had coached that same group through IHSA play, middle school play, and they actually won the 7th grade Class 3A state title game in Illini Bluffs. So it would have been so nice for him to leave on a good note with the current group that he had. But then again, I mean, everything happens for a reason.
That's right. And this is one of these games. This is one of these games you look at. Let's say Notre Dame doesn't make that shot, and Nashville comes down and makes a shot and wins it. Does it really change how well each of these teams played? The only thing that would have changed is the score. The game was a well-played, entertaining game, and we were very, very fortunate that our stars stepped up, and one of those stars, obviously, the freshman.
Emmy Wardle was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the game-winning shot, which is also, the hugest part of that sequence because that wins the game, but throughout the whole game, from first quarter, the tip-off, to the fourth quarter when the buzzer final zero, she was big. In Nashville, I mean, you look at this team, they're also very young. Like we said, 6 out of the 8 top players for this team are all underclassmen. Yep. They're one of the very few teams that have given PND a run for their money. A lot of PND's games have been double-digit wins, but now this is a 2-point win. So you got to credit Nashville. You got to give Nashville their flowers.
And I can't go without saying, I didn't want to say it, earlier, but, this has been a difficult year for Coach Langhoff. When his son, early last summer diagnosed with cancer, became a patient at St. Jude.
Yep.
Coach Langhoff, you're worried about your child's health. You're worried about your other kids. You're coaching your team. How am I going to coach my team? His assistant stepped up, helped him through. Happy to say Dylan is doing really well.
Great.
The support of a lot of people. And what better ending could you have for Coach Langhoff this season than to end it with the state championship?
He gets his first ring, and after not winning a single regional title before this season, not only does he win a regional title, he wins a sectional title. Then he goes in the super sectionals, plays a very tough Alleman team, wins that game, and then he goes into the state semis, beats the brakes out of Regina Dominican.
Right,
it was a
right.
dominant performance. Like I said, a 46-point margin, the third largest margin of victory in an IHSA state semifinal in IHSA history. And then he goes in this game, knows that he's got a challenge in Nashville. Nashville's a very great program, and he comes out on top. So shout out to Peoria Notre Dame, and also shout out to their seniors as well. Given that this is the final game of the P&D Irish this season, give a big shout out to Emily Bear. Emily Bear actually had not scored a field goal before Thursday's game, so she has scored her first points. You also give a big shout out to Maya Wardle. Maya Wardle is Eastern Kentucky commit. She also, is one of the main players on this P&D team. She'll be very much missed for this Irish program. And I believe, Bridget Dooley. How can I forget about Bridget Dooley, the very energetic player, and she's the type of player that everyone would want on their team. Everyone loves Bridget Dooley.
And Bridget Dooley had never really played basketball before she came to Notre Dame as a sophomore. Family moved here from the Boston area, and she never really played basketball. She was a hockey player, for crying out loud. And here she is out here, and she is playing wise, but just her personality is what has driven this team to be what they are this year. And there's another senior that didn't get to play due to injury, Sammy Lard, who's been with this team the whole year, done a really nice job with this team. And then let's not forget their senior manager, Marin Ruskuski, who has been with them for the last 2 years and has done just a wonderful, wonderful job. So, you nailed it. It's a great group of kids that truly love each other, and what a way to finish a season where you've been tested all the way through and you pass the final test.
Well, that'll just about do it for us here in Clutch Sports Media. The final girls basketball broadcast of the season. I'm so upset that it's over, but we finished on one hell of a game. 46-48 was the final score. P&D, your Class 2A state champions. For me, Michael Savoy. For the guy right by me, P&D Mike Plunkett. We call you P&D Mike here at Clutch Sports Media.
I've been called worse.
Appreciate you. Jonathan Michael writing a game story about this game. Teddy Ball running social media. And Noah Powell had stayed for the IB game. Wrote a story about that one. Once again, P&D, Peoria Notre Dame, first-time state champions. They win decently close against Nashville, 48-46. I am Michael Savoy once again signing off for Clutch Sports Media. Have a great night.